this is Bella. Bella, this is Mr. McCandles.
Congratulations on this. One of the best things about Bella is that she experiences everything, things we take for granted for the very first time, and we get to watch it unfold. Is there something that you wish you could go back and experience again for the first time, just because of that joy that once you experience it, you don't really get that chance again?
So many things, but I think it's especially certain art, like certain films.
Yeah.
You know, when you get so jealous that someone hasn't seen a movie that you love,
Yep.
and like they get to experience it for the first time. I'd love to watch The Jinx for the first time. Again, that's my favorite show of all time.
You're always reading now, Bella. You're losing some of your adorable way of speaking.
I love the fact that she makes, you've got to make these character changes that are so subtle, literally daily changes in your posture, in the way you carry yourself, and in how you talk. What was the hardest change to make slowly?
It felt like everything was happening pretty rapidly. I think the hardest part for me was actually sort of her stage one, the very beginning of Bella, because it was great because we had so much freedom to experiment, because she's a creature that doesn't exist, so there was like nothing to compare it to.
Right.
So it could be invented, but that was also what was challenging, is like at her most sort of primal, and trying to gauge that. And also it was our first 2 weeks of shooting, which are always like a panic-inducing time for me on any project, because you're just like, oh God, now I'm trying to play this character, whatever the character might be. So that was the trickiest part for me.
Yeah, that's also when she does it throughout, but that's also when she refers to herself in the third person.
Exactly.
And I remember having a conversation with Vince Vaughn about, he thinks it's a red flag when someone refers to themselves in the third person. Have you ever done that and said, well, Emma Stone wouldn't? Have you ever done that?
Ew,
Refer to
gross.
yourself?
No. First of all, my name's Emily. And Emily would
True.
never. No, but I do think that young, like little toddlers do.
They do.
Yeah.
Speaking of little toddlers, since I've been doing this, you are now a mom. And the other great thing about her, she is unfiltered. Bella is raw. She says things that in this day and age would get any of us in trouble. How do you balance raising a daughter and encouraging her to be authentic and raw, but yet in a world where we have to watch everything we say?
It's still early enough that there's none of that yet. You know? I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go, I guess. I hope.
I remember talking to Austin Butler. He immersed himself into the Elvis role, and I asked him how hard it was to say goodbye finally to that role, and he said he's still adjusting. How hard was it for you to say goodbye to Bella?
Really hard to say goodbye to Bella. Yorgos and I all the time. I mean, she's like a third person outside of us, because Bella is so much a combination and collaboration between Yorgos and me that we'll just sometimes text each other. I miss Bella. I do miss her. She's such a special creature. I felt so lucky that I got to do it, and it was just like pure joy. So.
Well, where people can see this is a Harkins Theater, and I've got a loyalty cup with your name on it when I see you in person.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to see what the world is really like?
Yes.
Emma's character, one of the great things, obviously, is that she experiences things we take for granted for the very first time. What is something for each of you that you really wish you could go back and experience again for the very first time?
You know what it is.
What is it, Willem? Riding a bike.
Yeah. I think about school. I would have approached school very differently. I would have had more fun and not been so serious.
For me, it's like just probably going to be food, just the first time. Yeah, food is it's so temporary that it'd be cool to just have a burger for the first time, or,
There's so much that I'd go back and redo. Probably my teens. I was just so shy and insecure. I know he has a hard time believing this, and I was really down on myself. And I don't know. I look back, I was like, that was an amazing time. I wish I'd enjoyed it more.
You're always reading now, Bella. You're losing some of your adorable way of speaking.
I'm a changeable feast.
The trips, whether it's Lisbon or Paris, I love to travel. So I'm a big believer in how travel opens up the world to you and you have life-changing experiences. For each of you, Willem, I'll start with you. When was the last life-changing trip you took?
Oh, I travel a lot with work.
Mhm.
And every time I do a movie, it's like traveling.
Mhm.
It's like an adventure. It's like going to a different place. But I think generally the more far away from our tradition, our culture, I suppose, the last time I was in India, I suppose is the most life-changing.
Mark, how about you?
Everywhere you go, so and I'm alone a lot. It's funny. I have learned to really love that time and to explore. I walk everywhere. And so when I'm in a place, I just walk, I'll just head off in a direction and start walking. And usually I do it at night because a place comes to life at night in a way that you just never see it. And its true nature sort of comes out. And yeah, I really relish that. And I love to explore. And I love that newness of a new place. And the beauty of it, or the despair, or the feeling, the ghosts of it, all of that are exciting.
It is one thing, I imagine, to be on the sets of this thing. It's a whole other experience to see it on a big screen. What was it like the first time you saw it in its finished state?
It's such a great observation because I think it didn't feel that weird when we were there, when we were making it, and I think that's a testament to Yorgos and Emma and their leadership of kind of just creating an environment where we're making something wild, but the experience feels super grounded and feels really connected and feels really just fun. But then when you see all the pieces put together, you see the lens work. So much of my work is with Emma and Willem, in on the science experiment side of it, that there was this
Right.
whole other part of the film that I hadn't seen. So I just got to purely watch that as an audience member, and that was really cool.
But the last time I talked to her, she was so nervous about her brother seeing The Favorite because there was a little bit of nudity. I can't even imagine. Can you say anything about that? Have you met her brother?
Her brother, I think, has been prepped, to my understanding. He's been
Okay.
put through kind of an intensive, pre-therapy to see what his sister did in the film. And so, we're kind of praying for the whole family there.
I should be concerned.
Okay.
It was acting, man. I love your sister. I respect your sister. It was acting. She's the greatest, and I have the most deepest respect for her.
Oh.